My father called me this word once and only once in my whole life, and I actually got some very supportive emails from Indian parents actually, but it wasn't that he always called me garbage, but there was one time I was 15 years old and I started yelling at my mother, shut up, all this kind of stuff. Now in Western society this is very normal, you just do this happens all the time, but in the context of my Chinese immigrant family, when I said this to my mother, my father came over, and I still remember what he said. He said, I don't care what kind of a good student you think you are or how great you think you are, if you cannot respect your mother and show her, the proper gratitude and humility, then, and the Chinese word was like, then you are not worth anything. And that I translated into garbage.
Similar to the Indian.
Yeah, and I translated that into garbage, and I also used that word once and only once with my daughter Sophia in exactly the same context. And I don't know about my daughter, but when my father applied that term to me, it didn't affect my self-esteem. I felt bad because I'd done something wrong. And I think Western parents these days, they're so worried their kids are going to feel bad if you say something negative. Well, I think if you do something wrong, you should feel bad. I think it's right and wrong. The parents' first job is to teach kids to grow up, to have a sense of responsibility and not entitlement. So I do stand by that story, Madhu. I regret it myself. What did my children teach me? The other day I was saying to my daughter, don't raise your voice, don't talk like that so loudly. And her response was, you talk like that. And I regret, I wish I hadn't raised my voice so much, I wish I hadn't been so harsh at times. It's a different generation.
Some of the stories are really frightening, like when you were on vacation and you made her practice and you missed the sightseeing because the palace closed down and you said you were going to be just 10 minutes and you were there for hours and the whole family is waiting. I think that's when you hit the bottom.
The book is actually divided. The first, I would say,
obsessive, right?
Yeah, well, that's when my sister started to get sick, or maybe just before, but you're right. I think I did kind of go a little bit nuts, right? Because what happened is when the kids were very young, people said, how could you do this? Well, there was nothing to argue with. My kids were happy, we had fun, and if you ask my family, again, the book is supposed to be funny. Like my household is one where there's a lot of laughter. They think of me as a little bit goofy. My kids are so much more scared of their father, who's sitting over there. He never raises his voice, but they're terrified of his judgment. Whereas they think of me as a little bit ineffectual, and the book makes fun of me huffing and puffing and foaming at the mouth. And
I think